Hey everyone, Chris here. Just going to show you one of my build outs. I've got several comments that some of you would like to see more of the build process as to how I do these different modifications, these customizing of the gel ball blasters. So as you can see from my channel, a lot of stuff I'm doing now is using 3D printing and printing different parts. Now, the downside is that most parts out there are for airsoft guns or real guns, but there's very little out there for gel ball blasters when it comes to actually being able to modify them or add to them. So this here is a carbine, another carbine kit made for uh, an airsoft gun, and I wanted to see if I could modify it to work with a gel ball blaster. So this kit's called the Hornet, SMG, I believe, Hornet SMG. So we'll take a look at it. So I've obviously got the parts all printed out, right? That's the first thing that you need to do. And then once you get them printed out, then you got to kind of see if you can find a blaster that fits in there and can work with it. And then you're going to have to probably modify the blaster some. So those are kind of the steps I've taken. So you can see here we've got a lot of pieces here, and this one's actually a really nice kit where things are all made to like go together nicely like that. That's not always the case. Sometimes they're set up to just be printed on giant printers, and then you have to kind of place your cuts where you can place them. On this one I only had to place one cut, which I did right here, and then this piece I just reinforced, you can see, with aluminum pieces. Those are screwed in and glued in, and then they will be screwed and glued there too, just to add a lot more stability and that kind of stuff, right? And then you can see here, obviously, this is going to screw on the end. Um, this was a different, it didn't come with a piece like this. This was made to adapt to some already existing part for that airsoft gun. So instead, I printed this buffer tube, and then, of course, I had to find a way to affix it. So um, using a lag bolt and a lot of glue. That's how it's going to have, it's on there good. It's strong. Not worried about that. So for the gun, this is, I believe it's a Hericapul, that Hericapul. It was a 1911 with blowback. The blowback's going to be disabled in this case because there's no need for it. But I had to take that piece off the back there, right? And then there was another piece here I had to sand off. This, where this mounted, I had to kind of modify that. And then the actual blaster itself, I had to cut this piece off because this piece, went out to here. So that's kind of how I did it. This is basically an extension because inside here, there's going to be empty space for the barrel to get to here, and you kind of need an external barrel for it to really work like it should. So to kind of give you an idea of how this is going to look, this piece is going to go on here, obviously. This goes in here, and I've already cut. So that's the other thing you have to do with these airsoft kits is you have to cut out a spot for where your blaster hopper is going to go. Okay, and then this piece would go here. And that would actually, I'm not going to push it in all the way because it locks in, but it locks in there pretty nice. And then, of course, this piece I would have already, I'll attach these two pieces together really good before we do this final here. Okay? And this barrel would actually go inside here around the internal barrel, can slide in, and then that way it can fit through there, and it just gives it good stability, right, which is kind of what we want. So I can actually adjust that a little bit so that it's not going this, well, it won't stick out once this is screwed on. But that's the point. It's been an issue before where if you don't have good barrel support, then if it's just off slightly, your gel ball's hitting the top of it, it doesn't shoot good. So anyway, that's how it's going to look. Of course, it's going to look a lot prettier. I'll fill in all these spots where there have been cuts. I'll sand them. I'll fill them in really good, either with a 3D pen using filament or using like a plastic wood filler. This is just a little charging handle that will just kind of be mounted somewhere like here. And it's really just going to be for aesthetics in this case. And then the stock will be that like M4 tactical stock that'll slide on the back here and it'll just fit on there nicely. So I happen to have extra ones of those around so I don't have to print them. But of course, there's lots of different options for printing something like that. But otherwise, this should fit on here, yeah. It does. I just need to clear out some of these pieces in here. All right, so that's kind of the build plan. I'm going to get after it. Obviously, I'm going to take this apart now. First, I wanted to make sure it all worked, put it all together. I've test shot it. It works fine. Now I'll take this apart. I'll get everything ready for paint. I'll paint everything up, put it back together, show it to you guys, and then, of course, shoot it for you guys.